be going over all the books I read in 2023. I'm not the fastest reader, but I quite enjoy reading, and my goal was 15. I made it to 15. In this video, I'm not going to be going over some of the other books I read. I read 2 books that were for my marriage counseling. They were good books, but I mean, I don't think most people will read them. So this is all the physical copies that I have of the books that I read this year, and we're just going to go over them together. Let me pull up Goodreads so I can figure out how I did this. Okay, first book of the year, we have Setness. This was from Kim Hammond and Darian Cronshaw. It was really good. It's 6 postures of missional Christians. It was a really good book. Honestly, I don't remember very much about this book, but I know that as I was reading this, I had so many moments where I was like, that is so good. So I would definitely recommend this book if that sounds interesting to you. I rated this a 3 out of 5 stars. Next this year, I read Things I Learned from Falling by Claire Nelson, about how she was hiking and ended up falling and getting stranded in the desert for, I forget how many days, but it is very thrilling. Like, you are sitting there on the edge of your seat wondering what's gonna happen next. The writing was beautiful and really made you wonder what's gonna happen next. You were scared for her. In my head, I knew, okay, obviously she wrote this book, so there's no way she dies, but in the midst of it, you're like, there's no way she's gonna make this. But it was a great book. This one's a hardcover, which I love, and the cover is beautiful. I love it. Then this is where I started to get into fiction, and I'm just gonna tell you, I went with the most basic book, but I read It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. When I tell you, before this moment, fiction was boring, and I could never get through a book. It never interests me. This book, I think, is what struck my love for reading. But if you haven't read this already, I would just do it. I will say it's a little graphic sometimes. I kind of had to skip through some parts. All of the spicy scenes, definitely not a fan of that. Going along with it, because I got both of them for Christmas last year, I got It Starts With Us. I would say I think I like this one better. I really fell in love with Atlas and wanted to know more about him and his story. So this one was also a 5-star read, and it was just amazing. So this next book I read, I do not have, but it's November 9 by Colleen Hoover herself. I borrowed the book, that's why I don't have it. And let's just say, same thing about the other ones, I loved it. I think the thing about Colleen Hoover's writing is that it's pretty easy to read, and I could just fly through them. November 9 was a 4-star read for me. I definitely recommend that book. It was beautiful. The next book I read was I'll Start Again Monday by Lisa Turkist. This is a Christian nonfiction, and it's just about, in the bottom it says, break the cycle of unhealthy eating habits and lasting spiritual satisfaction. It was just great. It was a great, as you can tell, it is literally like the size of my hand. It was the smallest, cutest little book. I could literally write notes after notes on this book. It was amazing. Let's see what I rated this a 4 out of 5 star. It's definitely a good read. I would definitely recommend. Better than the movies, and I'm not even gonna lie, I got this recommendation from Haley Pham. I'm obsessed with her. But Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This book is young adult, so there's no really like spice in it, and it's in each, let me show you. At the start of every chapter, there's little quotes from different movies. Like on chapter 10, it's 10 things I hate about you, and it's, but mostly I hate the way I don't hate you. Not even close, not even a little bit, not even at all. It's just so cute. And this lady, the main character, she is obsessed with like rom-coms and romance movies because of her mom. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. It was a great read. Now, here is where we start probably the best series ever. We have the entire The Summer I Turned Pretty series. The Summer I Turned Pretty. It's not summer without you, and we'll always have summer. I read the books first and then I watched the show. These are amazing. And these are my kind of books. I think all of them were 5-star reads except for It's Not Summer Without You. I think I gave it a 4-star just because it was a little slow at the beginning, but all of these books were amazing. And again, constantly think about them. I'm still waiting for season 3 to come out. I can't wait because I'm obsessed forever and always. So now at this time it was about winter, getting into the fall season, so I kind of wanted to go the more like spooky route. So I read Verity by Colleen Hoover. I got this one for my birthday, but I wanted to read it more in like the fall time, like spooky vibes. And just let me tell you, this book literally had my jaw on the floor 90% of the time. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm just lost for words. Again though, with Colleen Hoover's books, this one is pretty spicy. Most of the time, I just, again, read around it. It was perfectly fine. Take it as you will, but I would say it's great. It was a 5-star read for me. I read this one so fast because I just wanted to know what was going on. Then, also to go along with the spooky season, I read The Guest List by Lucy Foley. Now, I had really high hopes for this because it started out so good. It takes place on this like remote island and it's like a destination wedding. Something goes wrong, they try to figure it out. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. I will just say it's because there was a lot of like nonsense, I feel like, in the book that just kind of made it drag on. Like it could have been a few, maybe like 100-page shorter. But with all that being said, the content of it was great. I liked it. I wouldn't say it's a bad book. I just give it a 3-star. It was still really good. And then last but not least, I read, so this book I had, she's like my aunt. I call her my Aunt Heather. And she, growing up, loved reading books all throughout middle school, high school. Me, on the other hand, I hated reading. I thought I was terrible at it. I couldn't do it. So I just hated it all together. And in middle school, she was like, Addie, you need to read this book. This is the book that really resonated with me when she was a kid. And so she bought me this book. I had it in middle school, and I tried and I tried and I tried so many times to try to read this book, and I could never finish it. But I made myself, because I was like, well, if I'm getting into reading, I might as well read the very first book that she wanted me to read. So with that being said, I read Remember Me by Christopher Pike. This book, it was really good. It was a little confusing though, I would say. It's about this girl who passes away, she dies, and then she is still living, her soul or her ghost is still living here on Earth. So she's trying to figure out like who killed her. The concept was really, really cool. And throughout the whole book, you're kind of like confused, I would say, as to like how this all works and the whole concept of it. I will say though, you were like sitting on the edge of your seat like, who did it, you know? So I gave it a 3 stars. It was good. Not like the best thing, but I would definitely recommend it. But yeah, that is all the books I read in 2023. I had a goal of 15 and I made it. And this year I think I'm going to try for 20. I'm already on my next book and I'm like halfway through and it's like January, I think 12th. But I'm also trying not to put too much pressure on myself because I know I just want to enjoy my books, you know? I want to pick good books and enjoy them. You can't really see them, but this one that's not shown is all books that I haven't read, and then this one as well. These ones are my Christian nonfiction and the top one is my fiction books. I have a lot of books to choose from, so I should have some really good reads. Most of the books that I've gotten are recommended from either Book Talk, BookTube, Bookstagram, all of it. So my guess is that they're going to be pretty highly rated and good reads for the year. So with that being said, I hope you guys all had a great New Year's, and if you have a reading goal for the year for 2024, go ahead, comment it down below so I could see. And if you don't, comment what you're currently reading. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a great, wonderful day, and I'll see you guys later.